Welcome to the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast. I'm Stephanie Laska, best-selling author and creator of Dirty Lazy Keto.
And I'm Tamara Snezik, professor of sociology. We believe there are many paths, often unconventional, to achieve your goals. But we get stuck thinking we have to follow experts and fixed set of rules.
Well, as the leader of the Dirty Lazy Keto Facebook support group with over 200,000 members, I see people are hungry for a fresh approach, not just for weight loss, but to help live their very best life. Season 2 of the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast will provide lifestyle advice, lots of fun support, and practical tips to help you at home. Because you know what? You don't have to be perfect to be successful. Join us. Today's podcast is brought to you by the newly revised and expanded edition of Dirty Lazy Keto. Get started losing weight while breaking the rules. It's available for order now, and the new Dirty Lazy Keto, it is 5 times the size of the original mini guide a lot of you read from Amazon. So this one is being published by St. Martin's Press. Again, 5 times. It has all the things that you guys have been asking for, like starter recipes, a more complete grocery list, carb counts for every single food that's in the book. You don't have to look up anything, and lots of practical hands-on advice and help for you not just to lose the weight, but actually how to keep it off for good. So links to order and how to redeem the free bonus gift are available at dirtylazyketo.com/books.
Nice. So Stephanie, are you a bad patient?
Sometimes. I'm kind of bad at everything.
I'm a bad patient. I have a history of delaying medical treatment. Everybody who knows me, like, Tamara, just go into the doctor already. I mean, I'll be like coughing up a lung. And I don't know. I just feel like, oh, it's just not going to be, they're not going to find anything. They're going to think I'm wasting their time, and even though I wait too long then, and then by the time I go in, it's developed into full-blown like pneumonia or bronchitis. So I'm having to take more medicine. I'm like, take longer to get over it, and I feel terrible for longer. So I don't know why I do that, Stephanie.
So it sounds like you avoid going to the doctor.
Yes.
Well, I do that myself over and over. You know what? I've just been disappointed sometimes by going to the doctor. In my experience, a lot of doctors, not all, but a lot of them have blamed the fact that I was really overweight for all the problems that I, made me come into the office. It was always like, oh, I'm here for a really bad headache or a backache, and they wouldn't necessarily listen to my symptoms. I felt like sometimes they didn't investigate what I was saying, and they just told me to lose weight. Now, I know this was a long time ago. It was before I had lost 140 pounds. But for me, Tamara, the pain is really still fresh. Yes. And I have felt dismissed. I've felt belittled. I've avoided going to the doctors as a result. I always kind of thought, well, they must know more than I do because they're doctors. And for years, Tamara, I suffered for years and years for a lot of medical problems before anyone ever got help.
That's terrible because we all deserve to be taken seriously and have our needs met. That's terrible. We need to do something.
Yeah, we need to figure this out.
I know. So today we're going to talk about how to take charge of your medical care so that you don't make the mistakes we made or, have to deal with what we had to deal with. But first, we're going to give you 5 reasons why you need to take an active role in your medical care.
Well, for one, a lot of times these healthcare workers, they make mistakes.
Well, they did with you.
Sure.
Yeah, they were too busy seeing, your body weight and not anything beyond that.
And we all know healthcare workers, they don't know your body like you do. Right, Tamara? They might.
Exactly. You know yourself better than they do. So you have to take charge. I would also say that doctors can recommend things, but ultimately you're the one that has to live with what they tell you to do. You have to implement it. You have to take the medicine. And sometimes it's right for you and sometimes it's not. So you have to be vigilant about, following their orders or recognizing when what they order isn't right for you.
And let's face it, these doctors and nurses, they're making decisions based off of the information we're giving them.
Yes.
So if you're not being honest and telling them the whole story, they can't make the right treatment plan.
No. And ultimately, the fifth thing, and I think the bottom line to all of this, is that nobody cares about your health more than you. No one can advocate for your health but you. You have to be the one. It's your body, and you want to be the one to have the ultimate say in what happens to your body.
And there's no excuse here. Good medical care, it's not just having the right insurance or the right prescription. I mean, really, this is our voice. This is our, no one, you can't put a price on this. I mean, we just have to speak up. We have to take a bigger role. And I'm in the healthcare industry myself with my, one of my 5 jobs that I have. But I know that doctors get upset when we demand more of their time.
Yeah.
And we are going to ruffle some feathers as patients when we start speaking up. But ultimately, becoming more assertive about our healthcare and what our needs are, we're going to be able to take better care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And, like the theme of our whole podcast is experts. We shouldn't always just blindly follow experts. They're busy. They have 100 patients waiting in line. You have to demand that they listen to you.
That's dang truth, Tara.
Yay, here we go.
I like it.
But before we get into it, let's take a quick break.
Listen, everybody, learning to prioritize your health, it does not happen overnight. I mean, yes, we're making it sound like you just flip a switch, but really it's something you have to work on. And this is a key theme that I'm exploring in the book that is coming out, Dirty Lazy Keto, Get Started Losing Weight While Breaking the Rules. More than half of the book is devoted to lifestyle advice to help you keep your weight off. And I've kept my weight off now, 140 pounds for 7 years. I want to help you get started with Dirty Lazy Keto.
Okay, let's start giving some solutions and some strategies and tips for how to be our own best advocate, Stephanie.
Well, what's your first tip?
For me, I think one of the most important things, if I had to say, was choosing the right doctor that's right for you and fits your needs. I've been to doctors and I'll go back to the same doctor who I'm not happy with. I don't feel like they're meeting my needs. Whether they can't fit me in to see me right away, or their bedside manner is just horrible and I dread going in there, and I'm like, why am I doing this? We get a choice. Most insurance plans will give you some kind of choice, not always, but when you have the choice, do it. You can research them online, and now online they give you all kinds of information, like where they got their degree. There's even patient reviews of them. Seriously.
Excited.
No, I know, it's great.
It's true. But don't you think we're all just lazy? I mean, isn't that why we keep going to the same person over and over again? Or
I just don't want to, maybe I just don't want the hassle of, because it's not just being lazy because you have to find one, but you have to do your research and you have to get them approved by insurance. It's a whole mountain.
So we're not just lazy. It's more about taking responsibility for our health.
Yes. Yes. And it requires a lot of work, unfortunately.
It kind of does, right? Because what you're saying involves a few phone calls, maybe a little research.
Yes. And who wants to call your insurance company? It's a 15-minute phone tree.
It can be.
So it's hard, but it's worth the effort. Because if you can find someone who you feel comfortable with, like for me, I need a doctor who will listen to me. I feel like listens to me. I want a doctor that isn't going to rush me out, and I don't want to wait 2 months to get an appointment either. That's frustrating, and then I'll delay it even more, especially as someone who delays it a lot. Mm-hmm. I have to have not dread going in there. So the doctor I end up with is super important. I did do that once, though. I had a gynecologist who gave me the creeps, to be honest with you. He did. And that one, I listened to my gut, and he may have been a fine person, but for whatever reason,
just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling comfortable. And I will pat myself on the back. I did change gynecologist, and that person's particularly important. You feel comfortable with that person.
And I don't think our listeners should be afraid to drive. Like, I know that sounds kind of strange, but I've been driving outside of my city to go to some of the specialists that I like outside of my town because I like them better. Yeah,
we don't have a big choice here.
Well, and our listeners, depending on what community they live in, getting on the subway, getting on the freeway, leaving your city might help you find more choices.
Yeah. Yeah, so be willing to drive. I love that advice, actually.
Because you're just driving to your future.
You are. It's important. These are the people helping you have your babies or doing your surgery.
Yeah.
It's important.
You need the right fit.
Another suggestion I have is to use now there's a lot of new technology and new doctor services that might be a better fit for you. Like you can see a doctor online. Hello.
I've tried that.
How did it go?
I've tried it a few times. It did not work for me.
It didn't.
No, because they started to just read a script and tell me I couldn't have antibiotics.
Oh,
and I was so mad. I'm like, I'm sick. I have an ear infection. I need help.
And they wouldn't.
I ended up having to go to the doctor anyway.
I bet you that it's better for some problems and not others.
Yeah, I think if you're more complicated, it's probably better to see the doctor.
But it's, it's an option. Urgent care I use a lot, actually.
So why is that a good fit for
Well,
you?
for me, okay, because I delay it, and then I'll call and they'll say, well, the doctor can't fit you in for 2 weeks. And then, but if you're suffering from a cold and possibly a sinus infection, which I get a lot.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't have 2 weeks of a sinus.
You can't wait 2 weeks.
So normally I'll just say, forget it. I'm going to tough it out. Right. And then, but I know urgent care's there and they will take me that same day. Sometimes
you can get the
same hour usually.
Yeah.
And that helps me. I don't get to see the same doctor every time. But the urgent care doctors, a lot of them are nurse practitioners or doctors, what do you call them? PAs, physician assistants.
Uh-huh.
I find that their bedside manner's friendlier and nicer. So urgent care is working for me.
I know, in my experience with insurance and trying to pay for all this, sometimes that can cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
So one tip that I have for our listeners, if that's also an issue, is to call the number on the back of your card. Mm-hmm. I have made the assumption that I'll be on hold forever and ever.
Yeah.
But I've actually found the opposite, where there's a website I can go to and it's pretty clickable. I've downloaded the app to my phone and I'm able to navigate the benefits that I have.
Okay.
Easier than I thought.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, one time my son stuck, he stuck some kind of a pool equipment styrofoam in his ear. Okay, don't know why.
It's a kid thing.
Because he's a child.
Yeah.
And we ended up at the urgent care. It cost me $450 to have a piece of styrofoam pulled out of his ear.
Oh, that's not good.
So
you need to find out.
You got to make sure you know your benefits. And, it's not like you don't want to go to the doctor because you're afraid of the cost. But knowing your benefits might help you get...
You could choose a different option.
Yeah, or you might be surprised and say, I can go to the urgent care. It is covered.
Yeah, because for mine it is.
Yeah,
well, I don't even get a, what you call that charge.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even get that.
So I do. I get crazy big.
So know your...
high deductible, know. I'm not complaining. I'm grateful to have insurance.
Yeah.
But knowing the benefits has helped me to not be afraid to go to the doctor when I need it.
And I would think, just to piggyback off that, knowing your insurance really well and knowing your rights as a patient in general and your rights with your insurance also is empowering and helpful.
Time. Yep.
Because, like if you can, there's a range of physicians that you're allowed to switch to, that's perfect. You can just go right to the next one. Or if there's some treatment the doctor's saying no, but you see on your insurance that it is covered, you can dispute it or whatever.
Yeah. But don't. Yeah. I think, like my husband, he will never go to the doctor because he assumes nothing's covered, or he assumes the options aren't there. But once you get to know your insurance, you might be surprised what is available. Yeah. Like you said, if you need a same-day clinic or a specialist, that might be covered and you didn't even know.
I've been I've been pleasantly surprised by some things they do cover.
Yeah.
I just had a colonoscopy. Yay me! It's as bad as it sounds. But I did not pay a dime for that. And
the preventative treatment has come a long way.
Isn't it great?
And I've also learned too, Tamara, on that note, when you make your annual exams, with regard to billing, because money is important to me. My family is always struggling.
Yay, hell, we all are.
But my insurance doesn't cover a lot of stuff. So I make sure that when they're billing my appointment, that it's billed appropriately as a wellness exam, which is free once a year under my insurance.
Yes.
So that way I'm not paying for a cold or sinus infection visit. Yeah. If that's, accurate.
That's true. You're right. Because we've gotten in trouble with that with the kids' sports physical they have to have every year.
That's a good point.
If you make sure they bill it as a wellness, you don't get a charge. Otherwise, they get you.
Otherwise, you're charged as a physical.
Yeah, so good to know.
And also, as a side note, physical appointments are much longer. The space that they book for you, it's usually like 45 minutes or an hour compared to a like a sinus infection visit, which would be 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, that is true, because my doctor spent a lot of time at my physical.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's important that you tell them what you're there for.
Yeah.
And it gets billed appropriately.
Yeah, even when it's embarrassing.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know,
I always tell myself, like, if I have some embarrassing, thing to see the doctor for,
that's funny.
I think, no, which one?
No, it's not on your notes here. You said if it's embarrassing that you should do this.
What? I don't remember what.
You said you should go to urgent care.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't know you.
Yeah, I go to urgent care because they don't know me. I'm even embarrassed.
So funny.
I know, and I just tell myself they've heard it all.
They totally have.
They've heard everything. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to surprise or weird them out.
But
nothing.
Still, if you want to go to urgent care, that's fine.
That's true. I forgot I put
may
that
not
in there.
know your name. They may not recognize you from the grocery store.
I go with the mask on my face.
That made me laugh. Well, you know what? We all feel embarrassed. I think that's maybe part of why a lot of us don't go to the doctor.
Yes. And I'm also too, and I don't know if other people have been raised in a working class family that saw doctors, especially doctors, as the ultimate authority figures who you don't ever question. Mm-hmm. And I have that mindset.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Well, that leads us to our third topic or suggestion, is that don't be intimidated by the doctors per se. Yeah. You could find maybe a support group with that same medical issue you're having online.
Yes.
There's cancer groups, menopause groups, arthritis groups, just about anything.
Yes.
Where you could find like-minded other men and women who have the same symptoms and can help you articulate what questions to ask when you do see the doctor.
Yes, and let you know what to expect in the appointment so that you come and then you have a list of questions, and then you have people to go to say, hey, I got this information. Is that normal, or is this what a doctor should tell you? It's a great resource.
That is super.
I've done that for several medical issues. Just find groups out there and throw a question out, and it's great.
People are always willing to help.
Yeah. So use your online resources. And it's along those lines too, because it's another form of support, is to have a medical buddy or a friend or a partner or spouse, whatever, go with you to the appointment.
Now, should you just bring anybody with you?
Well, I would say so.
Because Tamara and I laugh about this sometimes.
Yeah.
There's bad people you can bring with you, and there's good people you can bring with you.
Yeah, you want people who are going to support you in asking questions, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want squeamish people?
No. Not that they're going to faint when you get a shot.
And you want them to be maybe neutral, where it may not be a family member, like a person who's just can listen.
Yeah.
I know when I've had really scary diagnosis handed to me with a lot of like intense details, I needed a friend there who wasn't maybe as involved. Yeah. Where she could write notes and be a better listener.
Because you can't hear anything.
No, because I'm like crying.
Yeah. You're really, you just got past whatever diagnosis they gave you. That's all you hear. Yeah.
Yeah, having like a neutral person. Or even like a medically smart person.
Well, I was going to say, you're the perfect person. I think I went with you on one of your tests.
You totally did.
Yeah. And
you waited for me in the lobby.
I know. And we were just joking and cracking inappropriate jokes. But it's a way to relieve the anxiety.
That's what you need sometimes. Yeah. That's why I asked Tamara to be there. She would make me laugh. Yeah. Make me not so scared.
Yeah, because that waiting room can be really scary.
It's the worst.
It's awful, especially when it's a scary test or something.
So don't be afraid to speak up and ask a friend. It may not be your spouse.
No.
As Tamara and I have discussed.
Yeah, take a friend. Yeah, exactly.
You may want to replace the spouse with a friend.
Yeah.
Or not a family member, just someone who can either give you the support that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I have the last one on my list is and this is, again, I think one of the core issues, is you have to be in tune with your own body, and you have to trust your own body knowledge.
Okay, I'm absolutely horrible at this. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I don't listen to my body at all. Yeah. I run it into the ground and then pretend that everything's fine.
And, I have gotten so many signs, because I have like asthma, I have sinus issues, breathing issues. And I've gotten so many sinus infections that I actually know pretty well when I have a sinus infection or not. I'm actually gotten to the point. And so when I go in there, I can be confident and say, and I don't just go, well, I just have this. I'm like, no, I have a sinus headache. I know exactly what to say. I say I have a sinus,
Look at you all in charge of your health.
A blaring sinus headache with these symptoms and this symptoms. And then they're like, okay, you have a sinus infection without even hardly looking at me.
All the magic words. Yeah. Not like me when I was on the iPad doctor. And they told me I needed like a CT because I had like the upside down vertigo. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I have an ear infection. I know, whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
But I like your advice.
Yeah.
Listen to your body.
Yeah, and some advice in terms of, well, how do you tune into your body?
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah. Because I'm working on it.
It's hard. You have to slow down and listen, like, whether it be, not everybody's into meditation, but maybe just turning off the TV and being alone, or taking a hot bath, just taking a walk in nature and just kind of checking in. All right, how's my body feeling? And then that way you get information about it. But yeah, it's our busy lives don't allow us to.
You inspire me, Tamara.
Well, it's easier to be in denial when you have a to-do list of 14 things, right?
Well, maybe that's why I have the to-do list.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to myself. I actually added a 6th category.
Yeah, please.
It's called Be Your Own Medical Secretary.
Oh, okay.
I learned this from my mom. She's very organized.
Okay.
This is just some really practical tips to help our listeners when they do get the gumption up to go to the doctor and sit down with them. Write down your questions.
Yes.
Because I get nervous and flustered, and I do this thing where I try to chit-chat with people because I'm bubbly and all that.
Yeah.
And then I don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
So if I have them written down and I let the doctor see I have a piece of paper, that way if I'm nervous or distracted, sometimes the doctor will grab it out of my hands and, what do you got there?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it works.
And also in the vein of being a secretary, bring a pencil to write down the answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I've done that before. Ask my question, and or they'll give me some long medical term,
long stuff.
Yeah, that I need to Google later.
You have no idea what they just said, and you fake it. You're like, oh
no,
yes.
But the last time I did write down, he's talking so fast. I'm like, wait, stop. I'm gonna write down what was the diagnosis, and then I made him spell it. But I figured if I didn't, I would be like just flummoxed after that.
That's fantastic advice.
Yeah. So be secretary.
Bring your paper and pencil.
Yes, and your questions.
And if you have any kind of lab work done or medical test done, never accept the doctor telling you everything's normal. Ask for a copy.
Good
because
advice.
Guess what? They make mistakes, and what normal is to them might not be normal to you.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about asthma, thyroid issues, menopause. Your levels change, your cholesterol, your A1Cs, your blood pressure. All of these things might have subtle changes over time.
Yeah. That
you can see a pattern, but maybe the urgent care doctor who you've never seen before cannot see.
Exactly. And then if you end up going to another doctor later, you have this paperwork.
You've got your
you
file.
Can say, rather than waiting 3 weeks, at least he or she can see the records, they're not official, but they can go off that.
I would 100% recommend that. Every piece of paper that comes through your doctor, you need a copy, you need it in your file, you need to be organized.
I didn't even think you could get access to those. You were the one who told me. I was like, my mammogram results, I'm waiting. You're like, just go get them. I'm like, what do you mean? You're like, I can just go get them? You're like, they're yours.
I'm like sitting in the parking lot. Tamara, let's go in. We're going in. And I'll tell these, I know this sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't be advocating this, but I will go into any clinic and just ask for it very confidently.
Yeah.
And use a bunch of official language, and they just hand it to you.
Yeah. They do.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I got mine. I was like, oh, wow. It wasn't even that hard.
No, you just have to be very assertive when you ask for it. Like, I'm here to pick up the results for Tamara sneezing. And they're like, okay.
Sign here.
Sign here. And they, sometimes there's a charge, like a 10% per page copying fee. Yeah. Which is BS.
Yeah.
But pay it and get your copy.
Yeah.
And move on.
And don't freak out if you can't read it.
No, that's what Google's for. And Tamara and Stephanie. Yes. No, but at least you have a copy.
Yes.
To look into it further and go to your support group.
And I have like a physician in our family, and I have you, and I've called you. I'm like, what does this number mean? Or
I'm like, I don't know, but let's find out.
Exactly. But it makes you feel empowered when you see the test results yourself.
For sure. Well, hopefully those are some good tips that could help our listeners. Accuracy is important. Not only keeping a file of all your test results and things like that, but I also recommend bring, when you do go to the doctor with your file, bring a giant Ziploc of all your medications, actual bottles.
Yes.
Because you need to make sure the healthcare providers make accurate decisions based on what you're currently being prescribed.
Yes.
Because they do make mistakes when they're
Yes.
writing down your dosage or
Yes.
quantity.
And I will validate that because
She's all rolling her
well,
eyes.
I thought when I went to get the colonoscopy, they said,
They're like, what are you on? You're like, I don't know.
well, I thought I had written down off the bottles, but then when I
Yes.
get there, I was missing like how many grams or something,
Yeah.
I just thought they needed the name of it and how many times a day I take it. No, they need more information. So you're right. Just don't even write it down. Just
Don't even write
throw
it down.
them in a
put
bag.
it in a bottle or put it in a bag.
Yeah.
And also your over-the-counter
Yes.
medications and supplements.
Yes.
Not just prescription,
Yeah.
but they need a full, complete medical profile.
Even vitamins, because it can interfere with a lot of
It can interfere with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So obviously this all takes work, Tamara.
It does.
Being a health advocate for yourself is the most important thing you can do.
Hello.
There's nothing more important.
It's nothing. I can't think of anything more
You
important.
would do this for your child.
Yeah.
You do it for your ailing parent.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing it for yourself?
Yeah, you need to. It's a priority. So when you're, going, oh, it's too much work, just think, it's your quality of life.
This is the only thing that matters.
Yeah. And because you don't know what's around the corner either. Like you may feel really healthy right now, but you don't know. So go in when you're, early.
Going early. Be your advocate. Bring your
Yes.
file.
Yes.
Giant Ziploc. Well, Tamara, I'm wondering what ideas our listeners have for how to be a good or maybe a bad patient, as I like to say.
Yeah.
You're going to suck up all the doctor's time.
Right.
What's your strategy for becoming a better advocate? Send us your opinion at Stephanie@DirtyLazyKeto.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Dirty Lazy Keto. Leave us a voicemail at 802-58-KETO6. Your comment or question could be in an upcoming episode.
Awesome. So let's wrap it up by sharing our personal favorite hacks.
Well, this one's funny.
Okay.
But I like to cancel appointments at the last minute, Tamara, because I hate going to the doctor and the dentist. I'll throw that one in there.
Yeah.
So my strategy is I make all my appointments on Mondays because I can't cancel the night before.
Oh, that's so smart.
Isn't that funny?
That's
So
a know
sad.
yourself.
I totally do them all
Yeah.
on Mondays.
Oh, that's right.
Can't cancel. And then I also like to do the first appointment of the day
Yeah.
or the first one after lunch because the doctors tend to be more on time.
Oh, you're right. They're not running behind. Oh, that's brilliant. Why haven't I thought of those things?
What's yours?
Well, my hack, because it made me think about, empowering myself, but it made me also think about empowering my kids to take charge of their own medical care so that, we pass on these good behaviors to them. So my advice is to have your kid start writing down their questions and let them ask the doctor questions or encouraging them when it's appropriate to take responsibility for their own medications. I mean, obviously you can't do that with a 3-year-old, but when they're junior high or high school, you can let them take charge of it. We started with my daughter at the orthodontist. So she now after the initial appointments, she goes to her routine appointments by herself, and I'll say, tell the doctor you need more rubber bands or whatever, and she will get them. And she's in charge of cleaning. She has Invisalign, so she's in charge of cleaning and taking care of those. And so it's been hopefully, a good start for her so that she won't be the avoider that I am.
Tamara, I think that's a great suggestion. I read that and I had my daughter do it this week, so thanks for that.
Nice.
And our listeners, I hope there was something you grasped from today, if not for the, little hands-on practical strategies, but just really the bigger message is that there's nothing more important than your health, okay? Good medical care, it's not about just the right insurance or the right prescription. I know we've said that before, but we'll say it again. There's nothing more important than you and your health. It's time for you to take charge, make your own decisions, know yourself and the challenges about seeing a doctor, and try to use these to help you have a better life. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dirty Lazy Girl podcast.
And don't forget to visit DirtyLazyKeto.com, where you can join the conversation and gain access to all kinds of free content to help you on your Dirty Lazy journey.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, consider supporting us by subscribing, rating, and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts.
Be sure to stay tuned for our next Dirty Lazy Girl podcast, where we give you even more tips and support.
You don't have to be perfect to be successful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.